I believe we should go to the moon.
That's one small step
It
for
will
man,
not be one man, it will be an entire nation.
one giant leap for mankind.
Cape Canaveral, Houston, California. Plenty of places spring to mind when you think about NASA.
But Cleveland residents have taken a lot of their pride in their hometown contribution over the years at Lewis Field. 13 ABC's Dan Smith gives us a look inside.
Even today, Glenn Research Center remains at the forefront of space exploration research, as is evident by this Centaur rocket. But did you know that the facility also played a pivotal role in putting man on the moon? The center's story begins nearly 3 decades before that one small step.
NASA Glenn was established in 1941 as part of NASA's predecessor agency, and our primary goal at the time was to improve the state of aircraft engines.
When NASA was established in the late 1950s, it was then a natural leap for the center from the sky's the limit to a loftier goal. As for the renaming of Lewis Labs after a certain Ohio native.
So John Glenn never worked here. However, when he was a Mercury astronaut, he and all 7 of the Mercury astronauts came here to train.
That training involved this daunting machine dubbed the Mastiff, able to use 3 axes of motion to test astronauts' ability to bring a tumbling spacecraft back under control. The center also provided Neil Armstrong with his first job after graduating from Purdue in 1955.
He really wanted to be a test pilot, and if you wanted to be a test pilot, the NACA is where you went.
A new position opened in California for Neil 5 months later, but not before getting some flight hours in at Lewis, his logbook still intact.
Because he worked here for such a short amount of time, and we didn't have a crystal ball, no one bothered to get a picture of him working here.
Fast forward to the Apollo program, named and overseen by the center's director at the time, Dr. Abe Silverstein. During his tenure came the center's greatest contribution to the moon landing, liquid hydrogen as rocket fuel.
Building a faster airplane.
Dr. Louis Pavanelli has worked here since 1960 and was part of an 18-person team looking at rocket instability using that new fuel.
It had the potential to destroy the engine completely through an explosion.
Dr. Wernher von Braun, the so-called father of modern rocketry, refused to use liquid hydrogen at first.
He was Mr. Big. I mean, Washington was listening to him, not to NASA.
It was Dr. Silverstein who eventually sold von Braun on the benefits of the new fuel.
If you build it out of solid propellants, it would have been too heavy.
By 1968, Dr. Pavanelli's team had perfected the design, and it's no coincidence the first successful lunar landing wasn't long after.
It was, like almost unbelievable.
Many of us don't know if or when we're about to make history, but the Lewis Labs team was fully aware the country's reputation was at stake should they not take chances and make mistakes on the ground instead of 270,000 miles away.
It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Everything is built on what you've done before, and history is just simply lessons learned.
Lessons that will help NASA Glenn make that next giant leap for mankind. Dan Smith, 13 ABC Action News.
And join 13 ABC on July 17th for One Small Step as we celebrate the contributions from Northwest Ohio that helped mankind reach the moon.
We look to the discoveries that lie ahead. It is fascinating stuff. Stay with us as we move forward closer to July.